especially among young people, have been criticized for not giving them enough attention. And there's also Bill Maher, who definitely be classified as a New Atheist. Now, I also want to mention historian Bart Ehrman, who's written a number of best-selling books. He's a religious historian who, again, one of these people who started out as a believer, went through all the right colleges, Moody Bible College, and so on, and finally ended up at Princeton Seminary and started learning about the facts of the scripture. He quickly started to change his mind about whether there was anything to it at all. And he's written a series of books. In 2001, he had one called Jesus, Apocalyptic Prophet. He argues that Jesus was one of many creatures of the apocalypse. And misquoting Jesus was about all the way the Bible could change throughout history. And finally, I think his most important book, the way it's another one out now, is God's Problem, where he shows how the Bible has tried to solve the problem of suffering and has never been able to do it. And I should also mention some of the anti-New Atheist books that are out there. This is only a small sample. I read most of them. I talk about them in my book. Notice New Atheist Crusaders, Truth Beyond the New Atheism, Irrational Atheism, Atheism is False, Answering the New Atheism, the cover there, Richard Dawkins, and God and the New Atheism by John House, who's a very well regarded Christian theologian. Now, perhaps the most important argument of the New Atheists is that that faith should not be given the respect, even the esteem that it obtains in modern society. In America, people of faith are treated with great deference. They are assumed to be persons of the highest moral standards, exemplars of goodness, and kindness, and charity. Now, as far as scientists like myself is concerned, faith is belief in the absence of evidence, and even in the light of contrary evidence. And how can that kind of frame of mind lead to any particular important insight? So we should call faith exactly what it is, absurd. Faith should be not be treated with respect. It should not be exonerated. And people of faith, again, religions are given far more leeway than any other method of any other organizational idea. Yet faith has played a significant role in much of the violent conflict in the world of the past and present. So it should be disputed when it's damaging to individuals and society. Now, theists have come back in these books, for example. They've come back and tried to argue that science and reason are also based on faith. And this is simply not true. Faith is belief in the absence of evidence. Science is belief in the presence of evidence. There's a big difference. When the evidence disagrees with the scientific proposition, the proposition is discarded. When the evidence disagrees with the religious proposition, it's the evidence that's discarded. Now, theologian Hout, the book I showed, says that the New Atheists have an unjustified faith that the real world is rational. Now, what's the alternative? Irrational world? Being rational just means that when you talk about some subject, the words you use are well defined, and the statements you make are not inconsistent. Now, how can irrational thinking and ill-defined words lead us to any credible knowledge? Finally, faith results in disregarding of important values such as free thinking and objective truth-seeking that are needed to solve the problems of the world, of modern society. Indeed, they're needed for our very survival. Okay, so the reason we trust reason and have no trust whatsoever in religious arguments is that science and reason have a track record of enormous success in understanding the world and making it a better place. Now, let me show you a little picture here. This is an example of scientific data. It's a picture of the sun that was taken in neutrinos in this experiment that was mentioned in my introduction. An experiment that was done in Japan and in an underground mine, and it shows what the sun looks like when you look at it in neutrino light. And this picture is actually taken through the Earth. This is the sun after it's gone down on our side of the Earth. And it shows, you could say, here's evidence that when the sun goes down, it doesn't disappear. I mean, it really critical to believe that, but here's evidence. The other thing that's important about this picture is this is the data. These are neutrinos coming from the center of the sun. And so the fact that they're neutrinos means that this verifies a theory. There was a theory that's been around a long time that the energy of the sun, where our energy comes from, is by means of a process called the weak nuclear interaction. And this essentially verifies that theory. So that's the way I can show you. This is the way science works. Now the argument that we give for science being a better basis for truth than religion is that it does work as shown here by the man on the moon. So let me talk a little bit about the nature of nature and how science views nature. Now, the new atheists strongly disagree with very many other atheists, in particular a lot of scientists. Most scientists are atheists, probably 60%. If you go to the National Academy of Sciences, which contains the elite group of American scientists, poll that was taken a few years ago showed that only 7% of them believed in a personal God. Yet the National Academy has taken a very weak position against religion, especially in the battle between creationism and evolution, and has issued a statement that science has nothing to say about God or the supernatural. Now, this statement is clearly wrong because science plays a role in anything that's observable, and right before the very eyes of the members of the National Academy, you'll find that there are reputable scientists from reputable institutes doing scientific experiments that bear on the question of the supernatural. Prayer studies, for example, are being done by Duke University, Harvard, and the Mayo Clinic. Now, they've all been negative so far, but they could have been positive. Suppose that these experiments had, in fact, shown